Warning. Curse of Strahd. Spoilers ahead. We rejoin Zayli the Ranger, Badakas the Rogue, Nala the Druid, Torin the Paladin, Zandala, Irina, Boblia, and 2 toddlers as Nala returns from an exhausting 8-hour cast of plant growth. Milovage's personal garden is growing at an absurd pace, as are the gardens in roughly half of Vallaki proper. The party recently buried Isaac Strasny's dead body and accepted an invitation to dine with one Fiona Vakta at her mansion, Vakta House. Fiona's messenger professed Fiona is a potential ally in these troubling times, especially after the party non-lethally nuked the town's guards in a previous encounter. Which brings us to an important crossroads. What will happen to the party when Baron Valakovich finds out they took out all his guards and Isaac is missing? Don't hold your breath. He's our next stop. As in, 5 encountered them and those 5 were defeated?
No, Baron Valakovich. 30 guards and Isaac were defeated by this group of adventurers.
Yet there were no fatalities.
Isaac is unaccounted for, but all 30 guards are bruised and alive.
Have we had any contact with these vagabonds after the incident?
They were last seen at St. Andrew's Church, sir.
Lucian sent word that they were helpful to him in resolving a personal matter. I would say keep an eye on them, but it seems there is little we could do should they turn against us. The powerful do as they please, leaving the rest of us to fight over scraps. It is possible they are no better than that wretched vampire.
By your leave.
Of course. Before we continue, please make sure you've subscribed to my channel. It helps me out a lot. Be sure to check out my Patreon for exclusive insights in my series after the episode. It's abundantly clear that Baron Vargas Valakovich doesn't understand the meaning of the word irony. Oh well, those in power rarely do.
Anyone need to do anything else before we leave? How are the plants growing, Nala?
Amazing. They're growing faster than I expected, but I guess the harvest must be close. How dressed up do we need to be for this dinner? Beats me. I have some old fancy clothes that might not embarrass me.
Oh, I can get Boblia all dressed up. She'll be so cute.
Badakas doesn't have anything fancy to wear to dinner. Badakas feels left out. Badakas better roll around in royal mud. Should get some nice clothes at some point. I usually get them torn by the time they're useful.
I have too many nice clothes. Maybe too clothes-focused.
After getting gussied up, the party sets out for Fiona Vakta's house, Vakta House, through the deserted streets of Vallaki. As promised, the Grand Mansion was trivial to find. However, grand is only applicable to the mansion's size, as it seems the house is disgusted with itself. Its roof hangs heavily on its supports, barely intact. The walls are chipped and the once proud, colorful stained glass windows are grayed. Maybe the house hates what it has become.
Maybe we overdressed.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting slightly less fancy for this dinner. This house is basically in ruins. Badakas should polish Badakas's crown and draw designs on Badakas's clothes. You already rolled around in the royal mud, so you're probably good to go. What's this person's name again? Vakta. Fiona Vakta. Nala is the first to move towards the mansion, but is surprised by a well-dressed woman who appears in the courtyard. Good evening! I am Lady Fiona Vakta. Delmarev Nala, you invited my companions and me to dinner. So I did. It is a pleasure. Please, this way. How strange for Fiona to greet the party herself, something typical of a servant of the house. But this small detail is an insight into Fiona's precarious position, as she's both incredibly stressed and pleased the party chose to seek her out. Perhaps the only time where first impressions are best left to the lady of the house. Fiona leads the party into a room that has an ornate dining table that stretches the length of the room under an imperious crystal chandelier. The silverware is tarnished and the dishes are chipped, yet the room holds a sense of forced elegance. Comfortable but worn chairs surround the table. Windows made of latticework iron and glass look out onto the fog-swept estate. Hey, Badakas. Maybe you should sneak around this place while we distract her at dinner. Okay. Can Badakas keep the animals Badakas finds? Sure, I don't care. Just don't get hurt. What if an animal bites Badakas? Badakas feels okay. If you please, the children will dine in a separate room. I'm afraid there's not quite enough space here.
You know what? We can have them on our laps. It's fine.
As you wish. Sit wherever you feel most comfortable. When in doubt about the clearly dubious noble, don't split the party. Everyone is seated, and the games begin. Tell me, what brings you to our lovely land of Barovia? Badakas followed Badakas's friends here from Happy Land. Badakas was looking for chicken, and this mean man told Badakas he had some, but then he burned Badakas. Badakas was upset. Also, Badakas said this was a formal dinner. Badakas was happy to have an invite. Badakas is not usually invited. Formal in a sense, I suppose. You see, I seek to overthrow the Baron and, based off what one of my associates has told me, you're both quite capable and have similarly aligned goals. I was made aware that Isaac is removed from play. Is that correct?
You probably won't be seeing him anymore.
People usually complain about Bedicus's smell. Bedicus likes overthrowing things, but Bedicus does not know who Isaac is. Answered as a mistress. If he troubles us no longer, what is it you want from Vallaki? We were literally just passing through. This town got complicated quickly. It definitely does. Curiously, I heard there was an altercation with what remains of the guards, and you chose not to punish those who raised arms against you. May I ask why? Ma'am, can Bedicus please use your bathroom? It was just Isaac being touched in the head, apparently. Of course. The outhouse is located at the rear of the garden. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Bedicus leaves the room and stands in the hallway. Bedicus wonders which way is outside. Upstairs might be the way out. Food and drinks are brought to the table. Fiona grabs some wine, indicating that particular bottle is unlikely to be poisoned. Torin debates a quick casting of Purify food and drink, but decides against. Where is this happy land the tiefling mentioned? You are quite the assortment of travelers.
It's far, very far, but it's nice. People like us. It's relatively peaceful. Barakas?
Barakas, having decided a stealth mission was not in his best interest, charges back into the room. Bedicus smells food.
Oh, good.
What are your ambitions in Barovia, if I may be so bold? Isn't your ambition only Vallaki? Isn't that what we're discussing? Vallaki is dear to me, of course. What's your issue with the Baron? The Baron believes that defying Lord Strahd von Zarovich will make it so that Vallaki will magically teleport away from Barovia if he can make all the occupants happy. But let us acknowledge the truth. Our dear Lord is no worse than a negligent landlord who allows us to pursue our lives without much interference. I have heard tales of much worse places to live, like a city located deep underwater. You have no problems with Strahd, is what you're saying? Of course not. I support his rulership. Is there a problem? Like I said, we haven't been here very long and we're unfamiliar with the political layout of the land. It only makes sense to ask. Indeed. Very well. Allow me to explain simply. Baron Vallakovich is only a baron by what he considers his birthright. He is unfit to lead Vallaki in these times, but refuses to relinquish his control of the village. With Isaac's disappearance...
Who was Isaac? What was he like?
A rude brute of a man. He stole what was not given freely and burned down the rest. In no uncertain terms, a terrorist marring the reputation of our fair village. Bedicus learned you should only light people on fire for food, and chickens, and maybe a few other animals. If we took care of Isaac for completely separate reasons, you won't have any trouble following your political ambitions. Now that he's gone, what exactly do you need us for? Oh, I was merely curious what your greater ambitions were. As it is clear, you are a force to be reckoned with. I can only imagine how traumatized the guards must be. Well, they're still alive. More that can be said for Isaac, it would seem. Bedicus had help from Bedicus's friends. No real plans. We help people out if they ask nicely, but otherwise we are just passing through. To where is your destination, if you are merely passing through? Vallaki is typically a destination. Why is it a destination? It is the best protected town from the wolves, bats, and other creatures that lurk in the dark and the mists, in my not-so-humble opinion. We don't typically settle somewhere until we've surveyed all our options. That is fair, yet ignores my question. To where will you travel next?
We haven't really figured that out. As Nala said, expanding our horizons and seeing our options. Getting the lay of the land. Bedicus really does not know. Do you know of any exotic fabrics in Barovia that I might be able to get my hands on?
Fabrics?
Yeah, I know a tailor back in Peaceland who makes great clothes who's looking for exotic fabrics.
Peaceland, you say? Where is that?
Back at home.
How non-specific.
Yeah, so do you know of any fabrics?
You're looking for raw materials, yes?
Correct.
Most in Barovia make their own clothes, and the lack of external trade makes it difficult to acquire new textiles for garments. You could try bartering with a Barovian, but on that venture, I wish you luck.
Great.
It seems like she's going to sit there and be vaguely vague at us.
Yeah, is there something specific you wanted us to do, or...?
I simply wished to make your acquaintance and understand your stance on the politics engulfing Vallaki. Bedicus's ambitions have been met. Bedicus is eating. The rest of the dinner passes cordially, if calculated. Both the party and Fiona danced around questions and continued to give vague answers, hoping to gain insight into the other's future plans. Nothing of worth was gleaned by the end of the dinner, which the party was quite excited to leave behind. Best of luck on your endeavors. I imagine we'll be seeing one another soon. After the party leaves and gets some distance from Vakta House, They stop to discuss their findings.
Great. It's clear we aren't aligned.
Yeah, no way we can fall back on her for help.
Right. Well, we might sneak back into her house to see if there's anything worth having.
My players never return to Vakta House, but the mansion is a goldmine of things worth having. Or knowing. Like most nobles, Fiona Vakta is a power-hungry dickhead who incorrectly believes she would make a better leader than Baron Valakovich. The two, however, are more similar than they are different. For example, skeletons in their closets. In the case of Fiona Vakta, you've seen her invoke Mephistopheles in a room where she is surrounded by individuals dressed as cultists. This cult is referred to as her book club, and will become a force similar to the Sparrows of Game of Thrones. Its members recruit dissatisfied Valachians to their ever-growing numbers, which could quickly present a problem to the status quo. Fiona Vakta keeps the dead body of her husband, Nikolai Vakta, in her bed and cuddles with it at night. To prevent the body from decaying, Fiona casts gentle repose on Nikolai's corpse once every week or so. Nikolai died 3 years ago. Based on a standard calendar, that's 110 casts of gentle repose. This is unfortunate insight into Fiona's mental state, as she's clearly not coping well with her husband's passing. That brings us to one of the sadder parts of Vakta House, and perhaps the only inhabitant deserving of a shred of pity. Stella Vakta. Stella is Fiona's daughter and has been stripped of her sanity after a foiled power grab on Fiona's part. Fiona attempted to use Stella to gain a foothold in Baron Valakovich's house by marrying her off to Victor, Vargas's son. Victor treated Stella so poorly that the woman literally lost her mind. A vicious mockery gone wrong, if you will. Stella is locked in her room at all hours and wears soiled clothes. She believes she's a cat, but has the presence of mind to speak in mostly complete sentences. Stella's madness can be cured by Greater Restoration, a spell my players have access to, but my players are blissfully unaware of her plight. You've already met Fiona's sons, Nikolai Jr. and Carl. They're educated, but spend all their time drinking or getting into childish shenanigans. Anything to keep them out of the house and away from their mother's incessant rants about supplanting Baron Valakovich. What a family! And last, Ernst. Ernst is a spy for hire and would betray Fiona in a heartbeat. He knows all of her dirty secrets and could easily turn the tables against her if properly motivated. But alas, Fiona may have won this round of Vallaki political powder keg. A special thanks to my lovely patrons for making this possible. And thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, share my video on your Twitter, Facebook, or other social media, and make the leap to become one of my patrons on Patreon. As a patron, you gain exclusive access to my after the episode content and other benefits as well. I'll see you all next time.